All right, today we're going to dive into one of the most powerful, complex, and, well, ultimately tragic figures from the ancient Indian epic, the Mahabharata. We're talking about a warrior whose story makes you question everything you think you know about heroes, villains, and even destiny itself. We're talking about Karna.
You know, right out of the gate, the source material just drops this on us. Not one of the greatest, but the greatest. Wow. So if that's true, if he was the greatest of them all, why is his story just filled with so much sadness? Why isn't he celebrated the same way other heroes are?
And there's our answer. That one little word, fate. This right here is the central conflict of Karna's entire life. You've got a man born with just incredible potential, all the makings of a king and a hero, but he was constantly and cruelly held back by the circumstances of his birth.
To really get a handle on Karna, we've got to start with the crushing weight of the identity he was given, an identity that wasn't even his, and the relentless struggle that came with it. So this term, Suta Putra, man, it's just dripping with irony. See, Karna was actually a Pandava prince by birth, just like his biggest rivals. The thing is, he never knew his parents. He was found and raised by a charioteer, so the world only ever saw him as the Suta Putra, the son of a charioteer. And that label, from a lower caste, would haunt him for his entire life.
And that label, it was like a poison. I mean, just imagine this for a second. You have this incredible, God-given talent, but everywhere you turn, the door is slammed in your face. The best teachers, they won't even look at you. The princes you know you can beat in a fair fight, they just laugh at you. Every single thing you accomplish is met with a nasty reminder of your lowly birth. He had to drink these bitter sips of insult, as the source calls it, every single day.
And yet, and this is so important, he didn't break. He just refused to be defined by what they called him. Through sheer force of will, through his own incredible strength, he became a warrior so amazing that even the gods had to take notice. He literally built himself up from nothing.
So all this struggle, all this rejection, it all leads to this one single moment that changes everything, the most pivotal moment of his life. After a lifetime of being told no, one act of acceptance would seal his fate forever.
So try to put yourself in his shoes. You've just proven your skill, shown everyone you're as good as, maybe even better than, the celebrated Prince Arjuna. And in that moment of triumph, you're publicly humiliated for your birth. You're standing there all alone. Who would you turn to?
And this right here just lays it all out, doesn't it? The world, led by the Pandavas, offered him nothing but shame. But then comes Duryodhana, the supposed villain of the story. He looks at Karna and he doesn't see a Suta Putra, he sees a champion. And right there, in front of everyone, he offers Karna what nobody else would: a kingdom, respect, and most important of all, friendship.
This one act of kindness forged a bond that would have these massive, tragic consequences, leading Karna down a path that he could just never turn back from.
You have to understand, for a guy who'd only ever known scorn, this was everything. Duryodhana's friendship wasn't just some political move for Karna, it was a life debt. His gratitude was so deep, his loyalty so complete, that he swore he would stand by Duryodhana's side until the very end, no matter what.
And here's the great paradox of Karna's character. His loyalty, his sense of honor, these are absolutely heroic qualities. But because that loyalty was pledged to Duryodhana, a man on the side of injustice, it bound him to the wrong side of history. His greatest virtue became the very thing that guaranteed his tragic end. So this unwavering loyalty, it brings us to the final, absolutely heart-wrenching moments of his life on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, where fate, curses, and duty all collide in the worst way imaginable.
So in his final showdown with his lifelong rival, Arjuna, Karna isn't simply outfought. It's not a fair fight. A curse from his past kicks in at the absolute worst possible moment. His chariot wheel gets stuck deep in the mud, leaving him stranded and completely helpless.
So as he's trying to free his chariot, he's totally weaponless. And here's the thing, according to the rules of war, the code of warriors, you just don't attack an unarmed opponent. It's dishonorable. But Krishna, Arjuna's guide, urges him to do it. And so Arjuna fires the fatal arrow. And that's how the great hero Karna dies, not in a glorious duel, but stuck, unarmed, and defeated by curses and some very questionable ethics.
Which really forces us to ask a deeply uncomfortable question, right? The good guys won, but They had to break the rules to take down a helpless man. It's a moment that makes the whole idea of a righteous victory feel pretty complicated and just highlights the moral grayness of the entire war.
You know, it's so important to remember why he was seen as such a threat in the first place. Karna wasn't just a victim. He was a force of nature. He rose up and challenged the entire system. He proved that your worth isn't about your birth. It's about your skill and your character. And that was a truth the people in power found really, really scary. At the end of the day, Karna's story leaves us with this huge, timeless question. Was his tragic end sealed the moment he was cast into that river as a baby? Or was it the result of his own choice, the choice to stay loyal to a flawed friend? His life is this powerful, tragic clash between fate and free will, and that's what makes him one of the most unforgettable characters in all of literature.